Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer and I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, go ahead and reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker, just go ahead and lurk. I will not stop you. You just go ahead and do that. It is a Thursday. I've had to constantly remind myself that today is Thursday. I don't know what day of the week it feels like. I can't tell you for certain that I'm like, oh, today is definitely a Tuesday. I don't know what today feels like, but it doesn't feel like a Thursday, and I don't know why. I just don't. I have no concept of what day it's supposed to be, just that this ain't Tuesday. You know what I mean? Just ain't Tuesday. I don't know. Lashbrook's here. Hello, Lashbrook. Welcome, welcome. It is a Thursday. It's not Tuesday. This might have Wednesday vibes. I don't know. Thursday might have Wednesday vibes. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. It's off. Anyway, I got the Plutine Gundam. The Plutine Gundam starts with a core fighter little guy right here, you can see. And then we're going to build armor around it. But the armor has to fly in on the satellite system, so we got to build that first. Lord Christ says, hey, Pat, it doesn't feel like tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, see, okay. It's not just me. It would be fine if it was just me, because I'm okay with that. But it isn't just me, and I'll take it. Aristfan says, spring break for us next week. And I said that like a dude, bro, because spring break is not a term that I can just say like, oh, well, of course, end of March is spring break for many people. Some people have spring break in April. It has to be spring break. Spring break. Enjoy your spring break next week. I hope it's a good one. Shout out. I believe Harold is currently in Boston. And shout out to anybody else out there. Because, man, all it took was me to skip last year, a whole year of PAXs, and in change, for me to just forget that they do a 4-day at PAX East. And because the 4-day at West is a holiday weekend, and it's a Monday, it's a Friday through Monday, East is like, yeah, Thursday through Sunday. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that. And it's the worst version of PAX East there could possibly be, which is PAX East the same week as GDC. Like GDC ends kind of today, and then PAX starts. And so for some devs, their team goes without them. They're at GDC, other people go. Because for some people, those are separate things, right? That's for developers and then for people that show it. For small companies, they are their devs and their play testers and their people selling the game and the people that are trying to put together the booths. So for those folks, they're doing both this week, and that's not great. So I tip my bandana to them. Shout out to people from California trying to deal with winter weather in Boston. Yep. And Dirty says, spring break or just the 1 week off I have every quarter. Hell yeah. All right, let's go to the overhead. Let's get into it. You can see we got our core fighter here. There's our core fighter. We're going to put our core fighter aside along with its cockpit / shield that doesn't look like a shield, whatever. We'll put those aside. And now let's build the satellite system. So this is going to be the flying machine that comes in and deposits carries all the armor, the Plutine armor that our Plutine Gundam is going to wear. But yes, there are many people, as Lord Crashing puts, who are unprepared for Boston, right? Because in their heads, like especially April Boston, right? Like April Boston, you think, okay, that's spring though. I'm going to be good. But maybe you're not used to a city so close to the water. Or maybe you're not used to the fact that the Atlantic Ocean is far colder than the Pacific Ocean, traditionally, generally. Speaking in generalities here, there are some differences depending on where you are. There are parts of California that get snow and are quite cold. But I'm talking about like people who are not used to that, that are used to like the fog. They are not used to a cold wind. Lord Crescent says, we just had snow yesterday here in Ohio. A couple PAX Unplugs ago, it was, I was there and it was rain. And you're like, well, it wasn't snow, it's December rain. That's not terrible, Pat. But it was Philadelphia rain. And so it was a cold rain and a brutal wind. And I want to describe the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic and New England wind. It cuts through you, and I can't do it justice for the kinds of cold it is, but you feel it in your bones. It is a cutting snow cold. There was one year where it was very, very cold in Boston, and I was helping to run the League of Heels booth in the which is in Bandland. And at PAX East, Bandland is just the entry, like a big open entry. So the doors were constantly opening and never really closing, and it was freezing in that area because, of course, there's no heat and there's no way to warm the place up. So it was just like everybody was just incredibly cold in that area, and it was not great. And then I had friends from California and other parts of the country who were ill prepared for the weather. I had friends who were like didn't have gloves or a jacket. They had like 2 hoodies and they just wore. They were sensible enough to go, I'm going to have my like backup hoodie in case something goes wrong. Meaning like a stain, not meaning like, oh, it's fucking freezing here. Oh, I really fucked up, huh? So I've dealt with all of that, and it ends up, it works out okay. So luckily, I was always prepared for the weather. I was always prepared for. I always bring like something like, hey, Seattle, September, it's gonna be warm. I'll put a hoodie in. I'll put a couple pairs of pants in. Like I'll like just like what if it is cold? What if like it's a rainy Seattle day in the morning and I'm up early and I'm just like not feeling it, or I gotta walk somewhere or something, like I'll prep. And of course, when I would go to, I was always good for PAX South. PAX South in January, I would always have warm clothes because I had to get to the airport. And so I was in New York in January, dressed for New York weather, and then I would get to the airport, take my jacket, and stuff it in my suitcase because I wasn't going to need that jacket until I got off the plane in New York again. So if for whatever reason things got cold and weird, I would be covered in San Antonio. If there was suddenly a weird weather or something, I would be just fine. All right, so these components here, we could, if we wanted to, we could just take this piece and put it right on our model kit, because our model kit's going to need armor. That's what this is for. We could just do that right away. We're not doing that. I want to show you what it looks like when all of these pieces are on the holding mechanism here. The flight, I would describe it as like our Robo Bird. Our Robo Bird is going to fly in with all these armor pieces, looking dope as heck, and then we will disassemble that and then shove it all on there. And it'll be neat. There's a little stand for this, which is fun. We don't build the stand until we put it all together, which I've always found weird, but that's how they do it. We got our cool... we won't have to do a lot of panel lining because all of this is black except for the parts that become the shoulders, which are white. And so those will require some panel lines, but this is good for now. And this is... used everything on it. It's fun. They were talking about on Nextlander, They were chatting about PAX and talking about how over the years the technology has gotten better in the panel rooms. And that is from the perspective of Vinny Caravella, who had to record panels. That, like, when he first started going there, um, they couldn't reliably get audio out of the board. It was either the equipment was new and the people weren't trained right. PAX hires people. They contract people through Twitch to work, and a lot of the same people work multiple PAXs. They travel because they're part of it. I believe that's changed now, and instead of it going through Twitch, they go through Reed, but it's the same people. They just made contracts with that company. So instead of PAX hiring Twitch, who then hired a company, Reed just hires that company. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% on that, but I remember that was the case. So, like, you just had people who were like, "Oh, I don't know this equipment at all," and it's like, well, I know it. Can I plug a cable in? You don't have an XLR out? Do you have a 1/4 inch out? Do you have an RCA out? Do you got a DI box? Do you have a second DI box? Like, what do we need here? I remember Drew Scanlon, when he would record for Giant Bomb. This is back in the day, obviously. He would tape a lapel mic on a wireless lapel, like a little lapel mic with a wireless receiver. He would tape that lapel mic to the inside of a speaker, and then he would turn the gain down very low. And then he would be able to pick that speaker up in his camera, and that's how he got board audio. And then he would also have room and all of that. And that was his solution, and that was a solution that worked, but was bad. It was a bad solution to the problem. Eventually, they had equipment there where you could give them a little USB, and plug it in, and they would record off the board to that. But here's the thing: they would do it, and it would work, except for the part where you never knew what the level was, because generally that USB record, that like plug in with your device and record to that device, that has a gain, that has like a volume level on it, right? But you never knew where it was going to be set, because you would have to like ask them, and it's like they've got a lot of other stuff on their plate and all that. So it was always a thing of like, I just don't know. I recorded out of the board. One year I did a Waypoint Radio. Waypoint, they were like, hey, we're doing a PAX panel. We don't know if it's going to be recorded or not. And I was like, and I heard that. And so I went to the panel and I said, would you like me to record audio? And they were like, oh, please? And I was like, great, because I had panels, and so I had my H4n, my recorder that would take an audio in from the board. And luckily, I didn't have to sit. I could monitor it because I was sitting in the front row, and near the front where you would set up a video camera, they had an audio drop of an XLR. So I was able to plug the XLR in, and they were just doing, when they did their test into the microphones, I was able to hear it, and it was not blown out, but it was definitely too loud. So I was able to go, okay, and then adjust the gain on that with my headphones in, and that's how that panel got recorded. And I was like, yeah, I'll just do that. I don't know what to tell you. Like, sure. I'm here anyway. I'm good at this. It's part of my job, my day job. So sure, let me do that. I used to bring so much goddamn shit to PAX, so many adapters, so many backups, because as many of you know, and honestly, it's been long enough that some of you have come in here from other things that you might not know that I did for the time in the 2000 teens elaborate panels. And by my estimation, they are not elaborate. I was part of a couple that were elaborate. But in general, my panels were not elaborate, but they were for the people working there, because most PAX panels were, we have we have a PowerPoint. We have some slides. We have one video. We're going to do a long Q&A. And I would be like, yeah, I need to hook up my laptop. I need audio out. It's all video. So I would like the lights dim. It's being live streamed. Do you know how to do picture in picture? Does anyone on your team know how to do picture in picture? No? Okay. Well, then just like when I go to play a video, can you cut to just the feed from my laptop and then cut back to just us? Maybe. Okay, great. Like I would 404ing it was very elaborate, and they were sometimes not prepared for my bullshit, which is like fair, but I needed them to be okay with it. And eventually they were. I would get like a couple people that started to try to be at the places I were. Lord Crash says, I just started an old Beastcast where you were on there just ahead of PAX, where you did the first improvised post-mortem. Yes. Shout outs to the Beastcast, who on occasion had me as a guest because I would say, hey, I'm doing PAX this week. Could I call, or like, hey, could I come on a Beastcast close to PAX to promote my panels and also hang out? And they often said yes, which is very kind of them. But yeah, improvised postmortem is just a laptop hooked up. But a thing I wanted to say when talking about like Vinny and the drops and all that, like I almost wanted to write an email. And actually, you know what? I might write an email. I might write an email like, hey, you talking about PAX technology made me think of this. I will say this to everyone who is doing a panel at PAX that is like, is there any way for us to be able to see what's on the screen? Like, do you have like a TV that can be pointed at the panelists? The answer is yes, and you're fucking welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome you have a confidence monitor. That's what they call it in the biz. You're welcome you have a confidence monitor. I'm one of, if not the reason you have one of those. So, League of Heels, playing video games ostensibly. Do we want to have the people that are playing video games have to look at the screen? No, we do not want that. We want the people playing video games to look at a monitor. At the beginning, you had to request one. Each room did not have a monitor. They do now. Confidence monitor. You had to request one. I started requesting them for 404ing it because, as you may remember, it is my panel only knows the videos that they brought. They don't know the other videos that I brought for us. So they're reacting in real time. And what they would have to do is we'd be facing the audience. Let's say you the viewer right now is the audience. Well, the screen is over here. So they would have to go like this and be away from the microphone and cram their necks around to see it on a weird angle or look over at my laptop. So there was one show where like one person just like moved their chair and their microphone and just looked over my shoulder. And I was like, this is not good. So I started requesting a confidence monitor. And they were like, you know what? We should probably put confidence monitors in the panel, the rooms that live stream, because the rooms that live stream already have way more gear than the other panel rooms, right? And the people that do stuff they know is going to be on a live stream often, not always, but often are doing more than your traditional panel and have more technology. They would appreciate it. This is a good idea. So we'll start doing that. Because also at the time, the person who I was talking to a lot about PAX stuff was like, so are you going to always request one? Should you just make sure you have a confidence monitor? And I said, yes. And then one time, this person who has not worked at Reed for years came to my panel, which was very kind of them, came to my panel and hung out. And after we were talking about this, and the very next panel, so this was not in a room that was streaming. This is one of the years where I didn't get a streaming room for annoying reasons. But the next person came in and said, oh, yeah, so we have a PowerPoint. And, oh, good, you have a confidence monitor. We forgot to request one. And I turned to this person and said, Not the person that asked, the person that I was in contact with, who I was being very friendly with. I turned to him and said, like, I feel like every room should probably have a confidence monitor. And he said, yeah, I'll bring it up in our postmortem meeting. And I was like, yeah, you should. And then he goes, email me and remind me, because there's a lot going on this week. And I was like, I'll email you. And so when we did our check-in about how things were going, because I did stuff in a weird world within PAX, and they like to hear from people like me, I said, like, hey, a reminder, we talked about this one thing that would benefit everybody. And it was like confidence monitors in every panel room. And I was like, yeah, dude. So if you go to a PAX and you see that the performers on stage are, the presenters are looking down at a monitor and not looking over at the screen or one of the screens, if it's a big room, you're welcome. That's me. Part of that is me. I had a somewhat positive effect on how a business is run. To the point where a small con in New York did not have a confidence monitor. They did not have a lot of the, I said like, hey, do you have something? I know the room I'm in isn't that big, but angles are always weird. Do you have something for me? And the first year they were like, we'll arrange it. And I got there and I was like, hey, confidence monitor. And the person I was talking to said, shit. And I went, oh, okay. Yeah, because that's a no. I was like, great, okay. Which only sucked because I would have just brought in one of my computer monitors. Like, I was in New York. So the next year, I was like, hey, I am coming to this thing. I'm doing this thing. I'm excited to do it. Do I need to bring my own monitor? Do I need to bring a monitor and a stand? Because I will. Do I need to do that? Or are you going to have a confidence monitor for me? And they were like, do you really need one? And I was like, yes, I do really need one. Like I said, I will bring one, but if you have it there, I will use the one you've brought, you know, and they had it, which was good because it's helpful, especially when I was doing 404ing it. It's just helpful to have that stuff. I'm trying to think if there's any other like, oh, I definitely made this part of PAX better. And I think that's really it. I would say, it was not just because of my panel that they started putting guardrails up on raised platforms at the they should have anyway. Like legally, they should have been doing that anyway. Because Kate Welch fell off the stage. She fell off the stage about 2 hours after Ben fell off the stage from Loading Ready Run, which I didn't know at the time had happened. So eventually they started doing that because they had curtains on the back of them. But they really needed to do that. I don't know. I got to make 4 of these. Didn't Jeff fall off? Well, so Lord Crashington, Jeff jumped off of PAX. Jeff saw a giant. We brought in a giant beanbag. Somebody brought in a giant beanbag to a giant bomb panel because there was the Lang Zone, and so they brought that in for the Lang Zone. And Jeff decided he was going to jump off of the platform that the table was on and land on the beanbag. And the beanbag, I don't know what he was expecting the beanbag to do, but he just like lost his footing and then fell on his ass or his side. I can't remember exactly, but he didn't land well and it wasn't good. He may have also fallen off the stage in a separate incident, but I think that's what you're talking about. But yeah, Kate fell and it really sucked. And I was like, oh no. Because when Kate fell, she fell on the power to the speakers in the room. So nobody's mics worked except the mics were being picked up. The mics worked. It's just they weren't being sent out to anything. So you could hear me freaking out on Twitch, but you couldn't hear it in the room, which was kind of funny. Yes, his butt back hurt for a while. Yeah, because he like busted his ass. And it was that thing where you're like, what did you think was going to happen? And in my mind, it was like, oh, he thought that would be cool. He thought that was going to be badass. And unfortunately, it was not badass. It was bust ass. I had a lot of fun there. So I will say that this PAX East, I do have FOMO because so many people that I really love, and also a lot of people that I really like are at PAX. There's just a bunch of friendos that are there. A lot of games people that I think are neat are at PAX East who have not been to a PAX in a while. Some of them haven't been to a PAX since in the before days, before everything went bad. And it would just be lovely to see them, but they are not, but I am not there. And also, I don't know if they're going to go to West, but I also don't think I'm going to West, so I don't know. That's how most of the ideas turn out in reality. Yes, most of those, like, this is going to be awesome, are, like, not great. You're right. We're building 4 of these. We're going to panel line them. We're going to attach them to make 2 of them. They're going to be our shoulders. They're going to sit on this thing here. We're almost done with this. I do know what I'm building after this kit is done because we might finish this tonight. We're definitely going to finish it on Saturday, but we might finish it tonight. I do know what I'm building after this is done. My Patreon poll happened, and so I'm building another thing from Build Fighters, but it's the main ass Gundam, and it has a long name. Plasky Wing is part of the name. It's just got like a fucking mouthful name of a thing, but we'll be building that next. The next kit we'll be building. Speaking of kits, I can say this to you, friends. I did buy a couple model kits today because the money I make from AdSense, finally I hit $100 for my threshold, or the threshold for AdSense, so I was able to get some money in today, because also I just never knew when it was going to clear. It cleared, and I was able to purchase a couple model kits. And I'll have money for more model kits, but I just want to, wait a little while and get them all delivered. But yeah, I have money for kits, and I can kind of refill the coffers a little bit of the backlog here. I'm excited. I got a Lego set and I got a model kit because I wanted to have a Lego option. I never need Lego in my backlog, so that's nice to be able to do that. Let's see, what else? What else can I tell you? I have an update on the Willy Wonka thing. Now, of course, this was not called the Willy. This was called the Willy Experience. They didn't call it the Willy Wonka Experience in Glasgow, Scotland. You may remember about this thing where they used AI to write scripts, and they used a bunch of AI generated art, and they printed a bunch of stuff, and they had a huge warehouse and not much there. And one of the big things, the big Willy Experience, yeah, one of the big things was that they didn't fucking have enough candy to give kids. And it also cost, I want to say, like 30 euros per person. It was a real 35 euros a ticket, I should say. Roughly $44 American to get in for this experience. So Channel 5 in the UK was like, hey, they did a special called Wonka, the scandal that rocked Britain, which is, I mean, scandal is a weird term. Some kids were disappointed. Here's the thing. Really, honestly, some kids had bad weekends, and that sucks. And some people they got their money back, but definitely were unhappy, and then also had to, like, make it up to their kids. And it sucks. But Billy Cole is the director of House of Illuminati. That's what their production company is called, House of Illuminati. He's a little bit of a drama queen. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say, like, look, the very first thing we'll say here is it's not cool that he was getting hate messages. Now, what he refers to as hate messages, I have not seen them, right? Obviously, there will be some people that are like, you should be ashamed of yourself, fuck you, stuff like that. Like, that stuff, that's a bummer and all that. But I can't tell you if some of those hundreds are just people making fun of him for the goofy shit that he was doing. And again, not excusing shit behavior. Shit behavior sucks. We don't like it. We're not fans of that. It's okay. But here's where I'm like, what's going on here? My life is ruined. I lost my friends. I've lost the love of my life. I was made out to be the face of all evil. And genuinely, that's really not the case. So I'm going to say this. That was not the love of your life. If the person that you are seeing, that you are romantically involved with, leaves you because you had a bad weekend, you did a bad thing, I don't think that's the love of your life. I don't think that's true. For sure. Now, also, there were mishaps. According to Billy, there were mishaps. The venue was too large. Yes. This is a problem I've never fucking heard of. I'm going to tell you right now, friends, I have done a lot of live production in my day. I have worked in venues, big and small. I have been part of productions of things. I have helped out with some things. I've organized my own events. I have never in my life said, shit, there's too much room here. With one exception. Occasionally, the performance that I was doing in a venue, I was like, this is a venue for a larger thing than we're doing, audience-wise. Not for the performances, but for the audience. But in those instances, I had no control over that. Billy, you rented the place. You rented a big empty warehouse. Why did you rent such a large warehouse? I don't know why you did that. No, like why? If that's such a nightmare. One of the other things, projection equipment was never delivered. Okay, so that's a bummer, right? I don't know if a couple more projectors was going to make that shitty art posters that you didn't have enough of look better, and the terrible script that you had, and the like made up character that you were using, and the lack of fucking candy to give out. I don't know if any of that's going to work. I believe you can push on. Billy, who described the way he reacted to the event's early shutdown, because, the police got fucking called because this was a scam, during which he snapped at upset customers, are the worst versions of himself. The last thing I wanted to see was children to be upset. Well, sorry, buddy. You got the last thing that you wanted to see, because the kids were pretty unhappy with the shit that you pulled off there. Okay, so this is the thing. In late February, the Glasgow Willy Wonka The Chocolate Factory experience went viral for its scam-like advertising versus the outcome of the real event. Because remember, they used AI. They made a terrible, awful website with AI full of images that just had lies and misspellings and looked like shit, but did have wonderful candy rooms and such, and promises they could not keep. The company's website, the House of Illuminati, promised enchanting environments, interactive adventures, and sweet delights and confections included in the 35-pound ticket, 35-pound ticket, roughly $44. It was not a euro, it was a pound. However, the attendants were disappointed to find a poorly decorated warehouse, few suites for the kids, and actors who delivered what sounded like AI-generated lines. And I'm going to say here, Billy, they say in this article, Billy clarified, this is an article from E, by the way, that while he did in fact run his scripts through AI, it was only to check spelling and continuity lines, and that's a fucking lie. Now, how do I know that that's a lie? How do I know that what he just said there is a fucking bold-faced lie? That, the script was written by AI, the script was not spell-checked, and continuity. And you know why I know that? Do you know why I fucking know that? Because even the worst writer in the world, somebody who is going to do a shit job of making this thing, of coming up with a loose script for actors to say in this weird experience, even the most dumbass person who is making something like this ever. You know what they wouldn't do? Write lines for the audience. Or write motivations for the audience, because that's what's in that script. That script has the audience oohs and ahs as this happens, and the audience and one audience member says blank. That's in the script. The script, written by an AI, created lines for the audience, and not like call and response lines, just like lines of dialogue. Because it's made by a machine. So Billy is fucking lying. While the event was supposed to run the entirety of the weekend between February 24th and 25th, authorities were called within hours of opening as visitors demanded refunds. The experience promptly shut down, and the House Illuminati issued a formal apology. I was sick to the pit of my tummy, Billy admitted at the interview. I was hoping for an event that would be joyful, happy. I wanted people to experience happiness. A local to the area, a local company to the area, this production company, has already optioned the rights to the story, but I am fairly confident in telling you, this is again another group in Scotland that happened to be right near there. They have never produced a movie before, and I don't think they're real. I think the people who said they're optioning it are just weird artists, and so I don't think there will be a movie. Don't worry about it. And again, I say all this to say it's a shame for those kids. I feel bad for the Oompa Loompa bartender, like, had made like a statement because her photos of her just looking dejected and bored, those kind of got out there. The person that played the character that was created, because there's no villain for it, so they created a villain for it, it's talked about it, like showing up, and the Willie, the person playing Willie, has also talked. These are just local actors hired for day rates to do a job, who were there, who like understood that this was a bunch of bullshit. The bartender would talk about how she was like told to only give one jelly bean per kid, and she started giving them 3 at a time, which is still not enough fucking jelly beans, but at least something. But yeah, these are just actors working a shit job. I haven't worked anything to this level of bullshit, but like, I am not at the stage of my life where I am answering like friend of a friend of a friend needs somebody all day, $50 and dinner. But I used to do those in my 20s. I used to do this all the time. I used to do $50. It's going to be 4 hours late at night. It was like my night off. I would go in for a college humor video where I would not have any lines. They occasionally would hire me and pay me more money to say things. But there are a bunch of college humor videos where I'm just in the background. There's a hardly working where I'm a bartender and I just do like bartending things and I don't say a line. And my friend was like, I kept waiting for them to cut to you and for you to react or something, because I was like, well, Pat's in this. And I was like, yeah, I did that for $55 and free snacks, but also because I wanted to remind the writers and producers that I was around. Like, I was just doing them a favor, basically. And it was $50 cash. Eventually, they had to stop paying people in cash for that. But like, those gigs were great when I was like 23, and I was like, I don't have to buy dinner tonight. I get $50 cash. I don't have to buy dinner because I'm just going to eat snacks and whatever else. And I'm going to see a couple of my friends, and they will most likely put me in a position where I am at least on camera or reacting to a thing, or maybe I'm like, oh, like whatever. I've done those jobs. Now, luckily, I am not in a position where I do those anymore, where I would have to deal with an AI written script, because I'm sure my friends have already been dealing with that. I have auditioned for a voiceover role, and the copy didn't feel like it was AI generated, but it did feel like the person who wrote it doesn't know what they're talking about. So it could be AI, but I have not run into a thing where it trips all the AI alarms of like, oh, this is some fucking shit right here. I have not experienced that yet. If I do experience that, I'll let you know. Anyway, that was we had to give an update on that. Okay, so we got a little time here. Let's talk first, real quick, because the next 15 minutes will probably be on this topic. We'll probably get into this. So real quick, I just want to say, I'm bummed that Eddie Kingston lost the title, lost the Continental. The fact that it was to me, if you have a cup, if you have somebody that has 3 belts and they defend 3 belts, then ideally they would lose all 3 belts to someone, and then that person would have to defend the 3 belts. Instead, they had Eddie defend a couple times and then just lose one of the belts. And then also he's already going to be facing Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor title at the Ring of Honor show. And it's weird, and I don't like it. So I'm saying that right now. Don't like it. I think that's weird that they did that. I'm just going to say that. Eddie lost to Okada. Okada has a mid-card belt in AEW. That is a weird thing to say. Like, Okada just has, like, a belt that only Eddie Kingston has held, and that's a strange thing. The 2 title holders for the AEW Continental Championship are Eddie Kingston and Kazuchika Okada. That's fucking weird as hell, y'all. It's just weird as hell. It's cool, but it's weird. So there's that. I just want to say that congratulations to Adam Copeland for being the new TNT champion. Yeah, TNT champion. That's cool. And yeah. Now let's get into it. Let's just fucking talk about it. We got some time left before we take our pause for the cause, and then we get back into it and do other things. So Jen Glennon, who you may not have heard of until today, unless you follow the stuff closely about who works where and all that. She was, up until today, since October of last year, the editor-in-chief of Kotaku. I remember, I know that when this news came out, at least someone I knew was like, wait, Patricia's the editor-in-chief of Kotaku. No, Patricia was fired in October. If I remember correctly, I'm looking at this this article from Aftermath. Disclaimer, I should say. I guess disclaimer, you could say. Many of the people at that company. These are the wrong pieces. I pulled out the wrong pieces here, friends. This is the wrong one. I need this one. I pulled out the wrong spot pieces here. I'm going to pull the right one out. What we got? Many of the people at Aftermath left Kotaku during all of this to start Aftermath, and then were joined by Gita Jackson, who had been at and did not survive the layoffs at Vice early on, motherboard layoff ways ago. So they're at Aftermath, and they're reporting on this. Basically, Jen posted, I've resigned from Kotaku, and Jim Spanfeller is an herb. And described, people have heard from staff members what's happening here. But yeah, I should say, things are going bad over there. Apparently, the move to quote unquote save Kotaku, which I must mention, especially after the several rounds of layoffs they've done, where they have not hired new people at a lower rate. They just haven't hired new people. This is what Jen says this is in her, after careful consideration, I have concluded that the current management structure and decision-making process at GO Media are not aligned with my values and goals for Kotaku. I firmly believe the decision to invert Kotaku's editorial strategy to deprioritize news in favor of guides is fundamentally misguided given the current infrastructure of the site. The decision is directly contradicted by months of traffic data and shows an astonishing disregard for the livelihoods of the remaining writers and editors who work here. And to be clear, the writers and editors that work there, this is me saying this, did not get hired to write guides. GameFAQs exists. IGN exists. Other sites also have guides. There are already guides on Kotaku. People went to Kotaku for news. Now, sometimes those people went to Kotaku to be mad at the news, to be mad at the woke reporting of Kotaku. And as some people gleefully say, go woke, go broke. And again, a reminder. All of this is because of lawsuits and Gawker collapsing. It wasn't because of wokeness. It was because reporting about shit behavior from one person. This is not woke. Gawker got shut down for running tabloid shit and making someone with a lot of money mad, who then financed the person that they quote unquote hurt, and got rid of that. And it's been bought by people who do not understand how the website works. Gawker got the rest of the site shut down. Well, no, it's not Gawker. It's Geo Media. Geo Media is not Gawker. Gawker went out of business because they owed Hulk Hogan too much money. Geo Media, which is owned by Great Hill Partners since 2019, has just been suffering. They sold Deadspin, and then of course there's a story of how Deadspin is going to be basically becoming a portal for gambling. That's their focus is ways to let you know what's going on in the world of gambling and having affiliated links to gambling sites. Paste bought Jezebel, which on paper, the idea of, oh shit, Paste bought Jezebel. That's awesome, right? They bought the name of Jezebel. Jezebel had been shut down and everyone had been fired there. So Paste just bought the website. They didn't buy the staff. So that was not good. And then Lifehacker was sold to Ziff Davis. So they're just selling what they don't know what to do with. They're selling whatever they can. And of course, we did report on this previously. Apparently, there was not plans to sell Deadspin, but the offer came in and the offer was too good. And then a reminder that Patricia was fired, which I remembered. But yeah, Patricia had been fired in October. Steven Tillo left in 2021. And then for 2 years, Patricia worked there. And we don't know why Patricia was fired. And we don't really need to know why. But she basically said, like, if I remember correctly, she was just like, when leadership is say, getting frustrated at you for writing about Tears of the Kingdom after it released, I do think there's a limit to how much things can flourish. This is what she said to Updater. And that led to a lot of conjecture. The belief, because some people are like, wait, Kotaku couldn't write about Tears of the Kingdom? And it's not that. It's the belief that, well, that game is already out. So why are we talking about a game that's already out? Let's talk about games that aren't out yet, because that's where the traffic is. As if Tears of the Kingdom wasn't going to be one of the things that people constantly wanted to know about. And it is a reminder that when we're talking about this, when we're talking about Kotaku switching to a thing, like there's a couple angles to look at this from. One, it doesn't make sense because, again, for better or worse, people go to Kotaku for news. They go there for the news. That's where they go to read news. They don't go to GameIndustry.biz. They go to Polygon, but Polygon has a lot more entertainment news. They don't really even cover a lot of gaming stuff these days, unfortunately, because they used to have really great reporters, and they still have good features there, but they don't really go that hard in there. They go to Slash News. They go to for like people. Some people still go to sites. A lot of people go to Reddit, right? A lot of people go to Reddit for their news because they look at just the headlines. But Reddit does send traffic to websites. Twitter used to send traffic to websites. And then people go to those websites and it does well and they put up with ads and it's fine. So it doesn't make sense for their audience that they have crafted. It doesn't make sense for the people they hired who are not, all of them are not, weren't hired to be guide writers. It is a misunderstanding of what writing means. Like the idea that there are people that are multidisciplined, but somebody who's looking at other sites and collaborating and talking to people and getting statements and doing the follow-ups and doing all that, maybe they're not good at writing fucking guides because you didn't hire people to write guides. It's just so misguided and nonsensical. So that's that angle, right? The other one is site infrastructure. Not designed well for that. Apparently, people are having fucking problems putting together guides for that site. And then, let's just talk practical, right? That's not what people... If you say, how do I... if you're Googling, which Google obviously issues with using Google, but if you're Googling, how do I do this or how do I do that? Or you're saying guide to or blank guide, Dragon's Dogma 2 guide. Even if Kotaku has a Dragon's Dogma 2 guide, even if they got it done, they don't have the SEO for people to be serviced that. It's not going to show up. It's just not going to be there. Also, they want 50 a week from their employees, and again, they're understaffed. They have people who are not who have not been trained to do this. And so much of this is just misguided and foolish and nonsensical, and it's just sad. All right, so I don't know how this works here. This is going to go in there. This is going to go on top. So this looks like that. This looks like that. I'm looking at the photo here because the description of how to put this together is lacking. So I'm not sure how this goes. We start with this, and then we take this piece, and it's just it goes up. Sorry. I will understand how this works, but no, that's not it either. This description, this illustration is incredibly shitty. Anyway, it's just incredibly depressing. I have used Kotaku on this very stream, these streams for news, for aggregating news stories that we can have for conversation because they do a good job of it. I don't know if I'm going to be using a bunch of them for now, to kind of fill the gap because I don't know exactly which one I want to go with. All right, I don't know if this fucking works. So eventually, this is going to look like this, and then this is going to stick out like that. How does that do that? How does that work? Sorry, everybody. Also, this kit is very new, so I bet I can't find a build of this yet. I bet nobody's been working on this kit. I mean, this part is similar to other kits, but and I don't want to put too much pressure on it because I don't want to break it. Yeah, I really don't know what this wants me to do. So this goes like this. In the photo illustration, this is like this. And then it just says like an arrow. Like this just goes up into it. What we got going on here? Bad Gumpo just raided with a party of 17. Welcome, Raiders. Hello. Happy to have all you here. I am being frustrated with a model kit. It's not, I mean, it happens. It's not the rarest thing in the world. But yeah. Hi. Welcome, Raiders. I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits and Lego sets. Jason's stream was sussy. Okay. Well, I hope you had fun on that sus stream. I hope it went well for you. I am currently working on the Plutine Gundam. This is from Gundam Metaverse, so Build Fighters Metaverse. And it is the system. This is the thing. If you've seen those shows, you know you've got your core fighter. And then there's like a vehicle, the planetary system comes in, and all of the armor that makes it look like an actual scale, 1/4 scale model kit, it flies in on a thing and then gets attached to it, which is neat and cool. So your core is like teeny, and then it gets a bunch of armor that just kind of lives on it. We're working on the shoulder armor, because this kit has a scythe and a bunch of other stuff. And there's like the instructions here. We'll look at these instructions together here for just a second. Also, hi, everybody. Hit the follow button if you'd like. I build model kits all the time. So this is the instruction that we're looking at that I'm like, what do you want from me? So we got this piece here. And then we got this piece here, D3. And then there's just like an arrow. The best review of this kit I have seen is, well, it's a kit, I guess. So here's the thing. I love the colors. I love any kit with a scythe. I like the shoulders that kind of look like spider legs, because that's weird. This kit has been easy enough to put together. I mean, a kit that's purple? Get out of here. I'm on board. Put in the light. Lots of good stuff. Not too many stickers for a high grade that's like got parts that were made in 2019, 2023, and who knows when else. But this thing, I'm like, what do you want from me? So I got this piece here, and then I got this piece here, and they're black, so this isn't going to be helpful. And then it's like, I'm looking at the photo, and it's like, arrow. Is it like slow? Okay, well, I figured it out. We'll go wide on this now. Too wide. We want too wide. We gotta go back. So this piece has to start under. It has to start like from the back and slide in here. And then when you slide in, then it can pivot up. And I'm going to say, it's not like there's Japanese that I couldn't read. There's just like a tiny little arrow. Like this part is bad, is what I'm saying. And when I do the other side, there's no guarantee I'm going to just immediately nail it, which is also on me. But like, it's embarrassing. I feel slightly embarrassed that you all came in and I was just like, I can't figure this out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this wants from me. Oh, it wants me to do that. Okay, we'll just do that. We nailed it. But I do love the colors. I like the design. Look, it's a core unit, so it transforms into a flight mode that's bad. It's a tiny little kit. It's not going to turn into a good flight mode. It doesn't have a good flight mode in it. It's not capable of that. It's fine. I am a somewhat notorious transformation hater. I like Transformers. I don't like mobile suits that transform because I never think they look good. I think I've talked about this before. The master grade Kyrios that flight mode looked pretty rad. And that might be it. Yeah, that might be it. That might be the only kit that transforms that I liked. Uh, it's just, I just think they do it bad. I've got the real grade over here, the real grade of the Epion. Beautiful real grade. The best looking Epion I've ever seen. It's fantastic. I like it better than the Master Grade. It's such a gorgeous looking kit. The two-headed dragon still looks like shit. They couldn't make that look good because it's not, I don't think it's possible. I don't think there's a way to make that look good. It's just, it ain't. It ain't gonna look good. It's, like, sorry. It's like, I just don't think it can. I just don't think it's capable of it. All right, we're gonna get this on here. We'll get all this connected, and then we'll panel line it. We'll get the shoulders built, and then we'll hit that. We'll just clean this up a little bit. But yeah, if you came in from Jason's stream, welcome. I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. On Tuesdays, I do something that is not kit related. This past Tuesday, 2 days ago, I played the new Hearthstone expansion because there was 10 years of Hearthstone and there was expansions. I wanted to play that. I'm also on a freeze of buying new video games for a bit because I spent a lot of money on a couple games. So I'm trying to play stuff that doesn't cost me any money. And Hearthstone, I am a free-to-play player of Hearthstone. All right, we got that connected. And then we get this connected. Make sure we're doing this right. Just gotta go like that. Hell yeah, we got the shoulder done. Let's hit it with some gray marker. Make it look all nice. Yeah, we were talking about some Kotaku stuff. Editor-in-Chief Kotaku has quit. That site is, say what you want about it. If you didn't appreciate their coverage, if you didn't like what they were doing there, it is part of a greater effort of CEOs to ruin the things that they have purchased with money. Getting in the way of themselves, tripping over their own incompetence, and then, of course, facing zero consequences for such a thing. Because that's not what happens. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame. Join a union in a state that isn't going to fight the fact that you're in a union. Is all I can say. Start a union, join a union. It doesn't keep your job, but it can protect you. It's not a guarantee, but it might be the difference between getting severance or not getting severance, or getting dicked around by it, or just or an offer of like, hey, we're only going to give you partial severance, and if you try to fight that, it's just going to take even longer. And you might not even get anything. And whatever other nonsense bullshit tactics they do. Yes, the IGN bullshit. Where they are out of nowhere. Like, everybody fucking knows. Everybody knows this shit. You may not know this. You may forget this because it was kind of a blip. It didn't turn into a big thing. Hey, remember when Kickstarter was going to have a union? When the employees of Kickstarter were working towards creating a union? And then weirdly, two of the people that were organizing the union got laid off. Isn't that weird? One of them was for redundancy, and the other was for was not a layoff. They were fired for consistently failing some blah 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 and not meeting goals and all this stuff. And then it was weird because the person that was let go from that, who was incredibly vocal about the union, they couldn't produce any evidence that they had ever talked to him about that, which they needed to do. It was so weird. They never had any HR meetings with them. Ever. It was so weird. It's almost like Kickstarter was union busting. But they wouldn't do that. But yeah, these union busting tactics are not new, and they are not cute. And it is utter bullshit. You're right. But unfortunately, it is a product. It is a consistent behavior. Yes. There's no other motive. It just so happened that the only people that they had any issues with were that. I remember. I can't say too much about it because there are at least a couple of people that I still like at that company, but in a different industry, two companies merged, and when they merged, they laid off some people, right? And they were redundancies. Well, while they were laying off some people for redundancies, and again, we don't know how accurate that was or not. They went ahead and laid off a guy they just didn't like because they thought it would be easier to have him get laid off with other people than to just fire him. And that was like some fucking bullshit because it's just like, oh no, you can't you can't say it's a redundancy if there's no one, if there isn't a redundant, like you can as a business just fire a dude. You can just fire someone that you don't like. Like, I'm not saying that they couldn't do that. I'm just saying, like, oh no, you can't be like sneaky about it. You just got to fire this guy. Like, you probably should have laid off the people you were planning to lay off, all from one of the two companies. And that's what I actually think it was. So these two companies merged. Everyone that got laid off was from one company except the dude they didn't like, who was from the other company. And I was like, oh, is that you're like, oh, we'll let him go here so it looks like it's, like, oh, well, both sides lost people. And I was just like, oh, no, it's not how that works. And again, I can't get too deep into this, so my apologies that I'm being vague. I am not usually a vague poster, but I will be a little vague about that because, yeah. I don't know what else to say there. I can't say too much. All right, so can we get this in one? Now that I've done it once, can I do it again? Can I start it down here? And then... Hell yeah. I learned how to do that. I did it right away. I don't have anything else to say there, friends. I nailed it. I did the thing I was supposed to do. Snipped the part I was supposed to start. Snip. So because we have guests tonight, very kind. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming in on this raid. Thanks for hanging out. I'm not going to do my big spiel that I normally do. I'm going to do a small spiel right here. This will just take a couple minutes, so I'm just going to do this right now. And then we'll get back to model kit building and talk about this model kit and all that. But please indulge me for just a few moments while I plead my case of why you should click the follow button, because I'm a model kit builder. I'm a consistent streaming model kit builder. And this is not a dig at other people, but it is a selling point for your friend Pat. I stream Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 9 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern, and I build model kits during that 2-hour window. And I am consistent in that. I do it. I occasionally take a Saturday off here and there because wrestling happens on Saturdays sometimes. Like wrestling I really want to see. Like, I'm going to take the Saturday off of WrestleMania because I want to watch night 1 of WrestleMania. But for the most part, I'm here. I am here more often than I am not here. Like, usually it's like 3 times a year that I am not here on there. So if you would like, you're more than welcome to hit the follow button to come watch a stream. Again, Tuesdays I do something else, but I am consistent on Tuesdays of doing something else. Next Tuesday, I'm going to talk about all the anime of last season because the new anime season is starting soon. So I'm going to do my wrap up and my preview if you want to hear about that. It's always like 2 hours of me just talking about anime and then occasionally just being like, I didn't watch that one because look at the description. Or I did watch that one. I didn't talk about it on stream because it was just like, oh, lovely love story. And I didn't want to talk about it or whatever. But I'll go through all of that. That's next Tuesday. Hit the follow button if you like. If you're currently a subscriber to the Build With Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave Lego site, the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. Being a subscriber is an easy way to support me. There are a variety of ways to support me. I'm only going to talk about that right here. But there are other ways. I will also mention that I have a backlog of model kits. I'm adding more to that constantly. If you want to see something get built on stream here and have me make a dedicated YouTube video about the thing you purchased and have it jump the queue and become next thing I build, I've got an Amazon wish list and I've got some gear at the bottom, but I got Lego sets and model kits and I just added a couple new things there. New to me, sometimes new kits. Also just like, turns out I have built the master grade of this. I've never built the F91, the F91, the high grade of that. I've never built that high grade. I put it on the wish list because it's inexpensive. I was just like, oh, I'll build that. I've got a bunch of different stuff. Lego sets, model kits, inexpensive kits, expensive kits. I also put up a new light, my overhead light. I keep buying overhead lights that are not good. I eventually would like to replace it with one that's better. I put one in on my wish list there. And it's just another way to support. Those are like the bigger ways to support what I do here. You don't have to worry about it. But that is a way to support me. Those are two big ways. And then I have a Discord. You can join my Discord if you want to support me and not spend any money. Join my Discord. It's full of nice people. I post build photos at the end of every stream, so you can follow along there. If you're not at every stream and you want to know my progress, I post progress videos, or photos, as you say. A couple video links for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. So I do every other Monday, I put up a new video in a series called Pat Baer's Anime Club, where I talk about anime for like 20 to 30 minutes at a time about a topic. And this topic is about good live action anime adaptations, with the understanding that what I'm talking about is also stuff that, at least in the United States, is readily available to rent online or watch online with ads or watch on a streaming service. So actually available anime, live action anime adaptations. And it's not all just Netflix. I tried to make it other things. And then I have a series that's on my Instagram and my TikTok, and also a YouTube short series where every week I recommend, in under a minute, I recommend an anime series that I think you should check out. And this week I recommended my favorite anime of the year 2020, Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin, which is a fantastic series. It is my favorite Science Saru series, and they've had a lot of great shows. Sometimes it's tied. It's occasionally tied with Devilman Crybaby, which is unbelievably great, but a very different series. But yeah, you should check out that little. In a minute, maybe I convince you to check out a very cool anime that you might have missed out on. Let's see. I have some. Speaking of anime, I got some anime to talk about, and we're gonna talk about that while I continue to work on this model kit. And let's transition back to the overhead camera, and I'm gonna have a little water. We'll dramatically do that right now. All right. So, for folks that are new, a thing that I do every stream is I talk about the anime that I have been watching since the previous stream. So the anime that comes out on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that I watch. And we're going to talk about, or actually, I mean, one of those shows isn't really on a Thursday, but whatever. Villainous, level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the demon lord. And Seventh Time Loop, the villainess enjoys a carefree life, married to her worst enemy. Yes, both of these are based on light novels. Yes, both of these have a manga adaptation as well. Yes, they are both the Title tells you everything you need to know about the show. One is an isekai. One is not an isekai, but it is a time loop show. And I'll explain a brief overview of them. They're both in episode 11 out of 12. I'll give you the brief overview of these series, and then we'll dig a little bit into the episode. Because that's what I like to do on the stream. Villainess level 99 is a story about Yumiella. Yumiella was a capital G gamer. She loved games, including the game that this world is based on, because she woke up as the hidden boss, the hidden villainess. Well, she was the villainess, or the character was supposed to be the villainess, treated the main girl rotten, suffers a awful end, and then if you play the hard mode, you beat the Demon Lord, and then it's revealed that she is actually stronger than Demon Lord. She's the final boss. You defeat her, you live happily ever after. Well, our girl is like, well, I don't need to be the villainess, but because I don't know how this game is going to run, I should probably get strong enough to defeat the Demon Lord. I should just be ready to do that. But as I said, she was a capital G gamer. She played this video game not for the romance, not for that story. She played it because it had a good RPG system. Because I don't know if you know this about otome games. Every once in a while, some weirdos get to make an otome game where it's really fucking good. Some dating games, like romance dating games, don't have, that stuff is superfluous. You just have to get through it. There are even easy modes so that you can just get into the deep story and date all the boys and all that. But there are some out there that fucking go for it with that are weirdly hard. And this is one of those. So she levels up really fast, really hard. She's level 99. No one's ever done that. She's incredibly strong. She's got great magic. And she has dark hair and dark eyes, which is people are prejudiced against. And so the video game character, the fact that her parents never talked to her because of her hair, and she was just so, desperate to make friends and so hurt that her fiance, the person that she wanted to be her fiance, didn't have the same feelings, that she gave into despair and became this nightmare person. Our girl doesn't have that because she has self-confidence and also is just yeah, whatever. I don't care. I got cool magic powers. I don't need to care that you don't like me because of my hair color. Whatever. And in fact, this Yumiella isn't necessarily feared for her hair color. She's more feared because she's incredibly strong and also definitely on the spectrum and definitely not great at social cues. In this episode, people are just fucking trying to kill her. This is new. We haven't had assassins show up on the show before, but assassins are here, and they are definitely trying to murder her. And at one point, they do make a smart move. They trick her, she thinks that this person is from the academy, or for the kingdom, and they're like, "Hey, we'd like to test these bracelets. They lower magic power. Could you help us?" And the bracelet, their shackles, they do negate her magic power. And then they reveal, "Hey, sorry, but you have to die now. We tricked you, ha ha ha." And she's just like, okay. And then she just breaks the shackles because it negated her magic powers, but she's still level 99. She's still incredibly strong. Didn't work, dummies. People shoot arrows at her. Someone slips into her bedroom, and it's weird because these people they are definitely not skilled enough to get into her room. There just should be no way that they can approach her, and we don't know what's going on. There is a story, there's a little section here that looked like it was just out of nowhere, where she runs into a young boy who is scared to go and talk to other kids his age because he has dark hair. And she's just like, "Yeah, it's going to be hard, but, hey, I have friends, but they reached out to me. I never tried to reach out to them. And you never know. It could work out." And then some bandits show up. They have been hired to fight her, to kill her. She easily and instantly whoops their asses. And the kid that she was talking to and the other kids who are around, there's some other kids around playing, are immediately like, holy shit, that's a mage. How cool. And they don't give a shit about the fact that she has dark hair. Like, they're not worried about that because they just saw like a teenager use a really cool magic spell. And the kid who has dark hair is like, she's really cool. They're like, yeah, she is cool. And it's just like, oh, all right, that's nice. We later that this scene does have an effect on what's going on here, but we'll go further into the story. So she doesn't know who hired the men because they don't know. And she's like, all right, well, I guess I eventually have to figure this out because I'm tired of this. Her maid, Rita, hands her tea that has been poisoned, which isn't going to affect Yumiella. And she's like, okay, so what's going on? You're the one that's been doing this. You've been letting people in. You've been setting me up. What is this? And Rita's just like, they have my sister. They said they'd kill her if I didn't help them. I'm sorry. And it's like, okay, well, who? And then we find out, oh, it's Yumiella's parents, who, again, I must remind you, she has never met before. She has never met them, and apparently they hired people to try to kill her, which also, one, what the fuck? And two, what, huh? She's very strong. What are you doing? What are you thinking? So Yumiella and Rita are like, all right, let's go save your sister, and then we'll figure out what's going on. They arrive. We meet, I believe Sarah is her name. Yumiella confronts her parents, and they are shocked that she's there. And there's a lot of like, why did you do this? And they're like, oh, well, because you're conspiring with the king. Because there's a faction of people that are against the current kingdom. They're part of that faction. She's been seen by the king. They don't know that the Demon Lord is coming. They have no idea the Demon Lord is coming, and the reason why there are more soldiers has nothing to do with these annoying nobles. And basically, you know, they're like, you could have just married someone. You didn't have to be strong and weird like this and all this and betray us. She's like, I don't even know you. So she basically threatens to kill them, which she isn't going to do, but she threatens to kill them. And instead, in order to save their lives, they agree that she is now going to be the countess of the region. And they are now not. She's like, you could live under house arrest or not live. Like, I don't know what you need. Like, what you need from me. She and Patrick, the boy with the silver hair that likes her, have a nice conversation. She still is unaware that he has feelings for her. And she's not leading him on. She's just not conscious of it. Like, just does not get what's going on. We advance some time. She's the reason why she wants to be a countess is she would like to end the discrimination that people like her have, people with dark hair have in this kingdom. She's like, I need to be front and center for that to work. So I have to be the countess. I am going to elevate the status of dark-haired people and try to fight that discrimination. She remembers the young boy who was too scared to even try to make friends because he was so ready for them to reject him. And it's like, oh, that's why that scene was in this anime. Nice. It was good. The king announces to people, because it's been a secret, hey, the Demon Lord, we got Demon Lord shit, but like, don't worry about it. We got Demon Lord stuff coming, but we've got, we trained up a bunch of soldiers. We're ready to go. We're going to get some people from the school to join in with the military service to take on these monsters, because there's going to be a monster flood. And then also, we got a crack team of heroes, all of whom are love interests for the main character in the video game. And also Yumiella's there. And they're going to take out the Demon Lord. We hear word that there are monsters are going to be approaching soon. There are some fireworks at the festival. finally, 11 episodes in, Patrick wasn't introduced to her a couple of episodes, but several episodes in, it has been a while, Patrick manages to have a conversation with Yumiella in which Yumiella understands that he is interested in her. Because he is now level 60. He has trained very hard to be stronger and strong enough. Obviously nowhere near how strong she is, but strong enough that he can help. He wants to join her fighting the Demon Lord. She wants, because she knows he's very good at combat and tactics. She's like, I want you to join and lead the other academy members who are joining up with the military. And he's like, okay, I'll do that. And she's like, why did you want to get this strong? He's like, well, you said that you would only date someone that was stronger than you. And even though I know you were kidding, I still bothered me. And she was like, oh. And they kiss. Oh, they kiss. And it's cute. Finally. But yeah, it took her long enough. She's like, yeah, I just said that so people would leave me alone. She's like, yeah, I know, but still. She's like, oh, wow. All right. It's neat. It's a cute little moment. She finally fucking understood. And then Demon Army is on its way, or is approaching. So turns out Yumiella's leveling methods, which are nonsense, but because this girl was so strong, a lot of people got stronger, which encouraged other people to get stronger. So in the video game, not many people joined that army from the school. In this, a lot of kids are strong enough to do it. So she has had a positive influence on what's going on there. So that's good. And then Yumiella and the Heroes Party are on their way to go fight the Demon Lord, riding the Dragon Ryu, who is a CGI dragon that does not fit well in the world and looks bad, and it bums me out every time because in the manga I really like Ryu because it's a cool art. And that is the first of the two anime I'll talk about here. The other anime I want to tell you about, also episode 11 of Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. This series, I don't know if you've heard about. It's totally possible you have not. I really enjoy it. It is a show about this girl. This is her 7th time being alive. So our girl has had it rough. She always comes back to the moment where her engagement is being called off and she is being accused of being a villainess. And then stuff in her life happens. She's done a bunch of stuff. She's tried to be a merchant. She's learned how to do that. She's been a soldier and posed as a man. She has studied medicine and alchemy. She has lived a quiet life. She has lived a vivacious life, I should say. And the thing is that no matter what she does, she always dies on at the age of 20 because of a war that happens. An emperor, the young emperor from another kingdom, always gets into a conflict and she dies. Sometimes she dies because she's acting as a nurse and there's an explosion. Sometimes she dies because she is on the front lines fighting. In the last life she led before this current one, in her 6th loop, she died by the emperor. Literally, he murdered her, and it was the last thing she saw. And now, he's not an emperor yet, but the prince, this guy that causes all these issues, this time loop, she caught his eye, and he asked her to marry him. And so this loop, Rish is like, okay, I'm going to fucking figure this out. Because if Arnold doesn't go to war, maybe I won't die. Maybe that's the secret to this, is getting Arnold to not be this dude would keep me alive. That's what she's hypothesizing that like maybe the thing that will keep me alive this time is that. So she's like, all right, well, I'll be married to him. And they've had a bit of a budding romance this time. They've learned a lot. She has met up with various people from her previous life, some good, some bad, and we'll get into that in this episode. She still doesn't know like what caused him to become so heartless and cause all these issues and go to war. She still doesn't know what the deal is there, and she's worried because she feels like she's running out of time to make this happen, because this is the first time she's tried this method. So as the episode opens, Reese and Arnold have like a meet cute thing. They see butterflies together, and he dislikes them because it feels like the battlefield, the torches on the battlefield. You know, he's a dark and brooding man, so he can't see the beauty in fireflies. Arnold is like, I hate my father, the Emperor, and by extension, I hate this whole kingdom. And hey, I'm going to let you know right now, because you're smart and you're definitely scheming something. If you get in my way, I won't hesitate to kill you, which we don't know if he believes. Reese promises she'll change how he sees the world, which that's her plan. She gets some minerals. She is trying to, there's this Prince Kyle, and she is trying to broker a peace between these two regions. That's one of her big things. It's like, don't go to war with this kingdom and take it over. Trade with them. Become partners with them. That would be better. And that's not going great. Let's see. Mikhail slips away from the people that are guarding him. Mikhail is the alchemist who, in a previous life, it's where Reese learned alchemy. And they had a falling out in the previous life because he is very edgelordy and is eventually going to create gunpowder. This world has not seen gunpowder. That is kind of his fucking big thing that he is working on. And he's edgelordy in the way that he's like, I was born to destroy this world. Which is like, all right, dude, fucking chill out. Reese helps Kyle, the other prince, try to plead their case to Arnold. They're like, hey, we've got great craftsmen. You have this watch, this rare watch. Those craftsmen could easily learn how to make that. And like, we could start doing technology. Like, we have the rare minerals. We can make this happen with your support. And Arnold's just like, yeah, I could just make that anyway. I could just take over your country. But hopefully he's going to look for peace instead of getting in a war, because it doesn't really make sense to have a war with people that don't want to fight you for no apparent reason. But whatever, you know. Doesn't have a good reason for it, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. And then Mikhail has disappeared for 3 hours, and then he allowed himself to be found in the gardens. And we don't know what's going to happen there. But we get the sense that maybe Arnold was behind this disappearance. Because, of course, Arnold, the guy who is thinking about starting a war with many countries, might perchance be interested in gunpowder and all of that. And we're going to find out in the next episode. I did not read this far in the manga. I am not sure what's going on there. So this is a combination of this anime. I'm now like, ooh, what's going to happen here? And with Villainess level 99, I don't know where it goes because it's now ahead of the manga. So I'm like, oh, I don't know where we go with that. But I'm excited about it because it's I like both stories. I'm excited for it. I have not watched any of Sandland yet. I am going to borrow a Hulu login to watch some Sandland. And then I'm also getting a free month because of WWE 2K24. I'm getting a free month of Peacock, that. And there's a couple things on Peacock I want to check out. So I'm not going to, because I'm getting that, I'm not going to get Hulu, but I am going to borrow Hulu login and watch some Sandland. So I'll be able to talk about Sandland on Monday. That's the plan anyway. I'm going to try to watch some of that this weekend. Also this weekend, I'm going to try to carve out some time to watch X-Men 97, which is not an anime, obviously, other than the fact that anime just means animation. This is Japanese word for animation. You've heard me give that spiel before. All right, I want to try to get one of the. I want to get one side of this connected here. All right. Let's see. Wait, where do the feet? Do the feet just not clip into anything, or did I miss a step with the feet? No, those go there. Oh, okay. The feet connect to this. So this connects to this. One of the legs here goes into this. Okay, I missed that step. So the one of the feet then goes. Wait. Oh. Okay. I don't know what parts go there, though. Sorry, everybody. Oh, okay. There's a thing that I have to build over there. Okay. So this is going to go... I'm looking at... It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm looking ahead, and then I'm confused because I'm looking ahead. And it's like, yeah, Pat, if you weren't looking ahead, you would not be confused by this. So this goes in like that. Oops. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? You playing any video games? You watching anything on TV or streaming services? Did you go to the movies lately? You reading anything? Let me know. I love hearing from people about what they've got going on, what they're into. So you can let me know. For me, your friend Pat, I'm playing Hearthstone. I streamed that on Tuesday, but I'm just pretty much consistently playing Hearthstone right now and having a really good time with it. Still really enjoying this new expansion. I think is pretty solid. I don't have any standout decks at the moment, but what I have played, I have enjoyed. There's some new cards. I'm still trying to get some gold to craft a few cards because I want to craft a few things that I don't have. So I am looking for that right now to get that going. But for the most part, I'm just enjoying my time with Hearthstone. And I'm playing a lot of fucking Helldivers. My crew consistently is like, we need to play more Helldivers, Pat. Or each other. We're talking to each other. We're really bigging each other up about getting some Helldivers together, which is great because that's a thing I want to do. I want to play that with my friends. So still playing a lot of Helldivers too. Still really enjoying it. And then I think that's pretty much it for video games. Nothing else. I went in and just did like some random Power Wash Simulator. I was hanging out with some friends on Tuesday after my stream here. I was hanging out with some people on a Discord, and a friend was like, "Hey, would you like load up Power Wash Simulator? I want to see or Power Wash Simulator, and I want to see something." And so I loaded that up in a Discord and just kind of streamed that with friends talking to me about that and hanging out. And that was a silly good time. So I just did some goofy shit there. I power washed a DeLorean because they wanted to see me power wash a DeLorean. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I just showed off like some of the DLC in there and hung out with friends. That was a good silly time. But yeah, I haven't really played much else. Trying to get caught up on anime. I'm caught up on Solo Leveling. I am now episode 5 of Braven. I am trying to watch more Braven. I got over the hump with Braven because I did not love it at first. I understood why people were really loving it, but I was like, this kind of isn't the big robot shows that I like. It's not the style of big robot I like. Yes, we are working on Gunpla. This is the Gundam Plutine, or the Plutine Gundam, I should say. It is from Gundam Build Divers Metaverse. Or not Build, sorry. Gundam Build Fighters Metaverse. It's not divers, it's fighters. My apologies. But yeah, we're working on a Gundam. But yeah, I Braven. It took me a second to get into Braven, but I am now far more into that series. I'm trying to get caught up on that. I'm not caught up on Weakest Slime because that girl is so sad. And it's a lovely series, but God, she's so sad. I am caught up on Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic, which I've read the manga, and I had forgotten how much of that series is about the main dude, but also really about his teacher. And if you like a guy getting stronger over time, that's a isekai. If that's like an important thing for you into an isekai is, I don't want him to just be overpowered from the beginning. Like he can get strong, but like I want him to take their time with him getting strong. Like that's the show for you, because it takes a while before that dude like can really power up, but it's gotten fucking pretty good. I'm also caught up on Banished from the Hero's Party, which is I've really enjoyed. I really like that series. I like the banished / kicked out of subgenre, and that's a good one of those. There's been some good action. They did a pretty good job of introducing a bunch of characters I don't care about and finding ways for me to kind of care about them. Like, I still don't really, really care about some of these new characters, but I sort of care about them. And that's nice. But overall, it's like, and the little spider is still good. The little spider friend is still a good spider friend. So it's like, okay. I'm digging it. I'm just like, I'm still behind on that show. I will get caught up on that. There's just a lot of shows this season. Lord Crash did watch the first few episodes of Sandland, which is good so far. I need to see that, but I don't have Hulu right now, so I will do it. I just haven't done it yet. Lord Crash saw Dune Part 2 yesterday, which was good, though a predictable story. I mean, yeah. But, yeah, I will see that at some point. Lashbrick's been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. You got a pretty good Zoro going. Nice. I like that specification. I've been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. So yeah, sure. It seemed pretty robust. Ghost Valve caught up on Dungeon Meshi. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to finish it. I don't have Netflix right now, and I'm not interested in getting Netflix right now because turns out appreciating but not enjoying the manga also means that I don't appreciate, but I appreciate but don't enjoy the anime. Turns out that that a good anime in this case didn't do enough for me to get me to watch a show that I appreciate the manga, but not really super into it. Let's see. Ghost Faust is caught up on Braven. Still marathoning BoJack Horseman. Also trying to read a bit more. Nice. Oh, BoJack. BoJack is a tough show to marathon, in my personal opinion. That is a tough show to marathon because it can be a lot. It's very funny, but it can also be a lot of emotions going on there. Aristophan says 76 minutes until Dragon Dogma 2. That's right, coming out. You can play it. Hooray! I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake alongside it if possible. Yeah, tough for people, right? Like, there are some people who are just like, I haven't played that because of Final Fantasy. And I know other people are like, I haven't played Final Fantasy because I'm still playing Like a Dragon. It's just like, yeah, this is a rough time for those quote unquote Japanese style RPGs. It's a busy season. Or maybe you bought Persona 3 and because you're like, I never played Persona 3, so I'm going to buy Persona 3 and play that. It's just like, there's a lot of, I can't even believe I've forgotten that. There's just like a lot of goddamn RPGs out there. Sin, thank you so much for subscribing to Tier 1 for 64 months. If you're a subscriber, let's throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Thanks, Sin, so much for that. Appreciate you. Very kind. Thank you for the continued support. 64 months is a whole lot of months. Appreciate that. Sorry. I'm a mofo thief. Says I love how Braverin has a projector and speakers built in to show his logo and play his theme. Yes, there is a lot to love about that show, and it took me a little while to get into it because, like I said, it's not the kind of mecha show that I'm usually into. But it's so audacious in a bunch of it, and also like it's just so it's a lot, but it also is very aware of what it's doing. It's very like on purpose in its nonsense, and I really appreciate that. Ghostfell says as much as I can, only in season 2. For BoJack, yeah. Lord Crashes says, I'm still watching Dragon Ball, and I'm in the Red Ribbon Tower as Goku's taking on the fearsome but incredibly silly Murasaki. Yes. There are... Look, here's the thing with the Red Ribbon Army. The Red Ribbon Army hired a lot of weirdos. They got a lot of grunts, and they got but the grunts are controlled by a lot of weirdos. And one Frankenstein. There's a lot of weird shit going on in Dragon Ball. Lesper says, there's no preload on PC for Dragon Dogma 2, and I have slow internet, so I'm still waiting for the actual game Dragon Dogma 2 to download, and when it does, I will likely go to sleep. I hear you, Lashbrook. That's a shame. I wish they had let you preload. It's a shame they didn't let you do that. I'm sorry your slow internet is going to keep you from having good times with that game as soon as possible. But I know at some point you'll play Dragon's Dogma 2. Yes, Sin says we're too busy feasting to play everything. Indeed. I feel that. I mean, and I'm not playing a single RPG right now. I don't have any. I don't even have old RPGs that I'm vibing with. I have thought. I do have Persona 3 in my wish list, and I will get that at some point. At some point, I will get Persona 3 remake, reload. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but at some point I will do that because I am interested in picking that up at some point. All right, so we got to do this way? Which way? How does this go? How do the feet go in? The feet go in. Wait. Uh-oh. Wait, what happened? What happened? This goes in like that. How did I do this? How did I do one? I did one of these wrong. Okay, this goes like this. And how did I do the other one wrong? I did my legs here. Somehow, I did this just wrong. I don't understand what happened. No, this is... Okay, no, these are... No, I didn't do it wrong. Okay, I thought I did this wrong. I appreciate the efforts folks have making their front yard pretty. I've just planted 45 flowers, and I think I lost a pint of blood to mosquitoes only on my ankles. Oof, that is rough. That is a rough one, Sin. Yeah, my parents really care about that, and I don't as much as them. So our front yard is looking really nice, and I had very little to do with that. I'm mostly doing, like, get rid of weeds and occasionally moving plants for them. Okay, so I did figure out... I did think I did this wrong, but apparently I didn't do it wrong, which is great, because I wanted to do it right. Yeah, so this is here. How's that supposed to look? Right leg. Okay. So that's this left leg. So that's the right leg goes like that. Okay. So then, that doesn't make any sense. So then this goes in here. Like that. All right. So basically, I'm building this like transport of all of it. And then on Saturday's stream, we will build the weapon. And then we will put it all together. But we're going to go a little over here because we have only one other thing left to build. And so I want to quickly do that. So Saturday stream, we are going to finish this kit, by which I mean take these parts off of the flight system, put them on our mobile suit so that our Gundam is a big boy Gundam and not a little boy Gundam like it is now. And then that'll be the end of it. But we'll build the scythe on Saturday. There it is. Why can't I get this together? And we also have to build a stand for this. We got to build a stand for this thing as well, which we'll just do now because it takes 2 seconds. Like, why am I gonna? I'm not gonna wait on the stand. The stand goes here and here and there. But yeah, this is the idea that we got our core. It's doing its thing, and then the armor flies in, and then this armor shows up, and then our dude rides on it. It becomes a big boy mobile suit. And I appreciate that. It's silly. It's nonsense. I like it. And then, was there any other parts? Oh, yeah. The weapon also will go on this. I guess we could build the weapon, too. Whatever. You know what? Let's body complete this whole thing. Or we'll complete this build, and then we will on Saturday, I will show you what it looks like outside of the all combined, because I don't have much left to build on this. We'll get a cool weapon. We'll get all that going. Does the all F there. So that's all we need for that. And also on Saturday, of course, we'll talk video games and anime. The last episode of Freerin. The last episode on Wanted Undead Adventurer. We'll both talk about those on Saturday. And yeah, I didn't even say, I am also caught up on Cherry Magic. I'm so glad. I was so bummed when it looked like no one was picking up Cherry Magic, because I also didn't think anyone was going to, fan sub it or anything. But Cherry Magic did get picked up. It's so good. I'm so happy with it. Is it my favorite romance show of all time? No. But it's really solid. It's got a lot of heart. It's a really good, goofy time. I'm very happy with it. Okay, so let's see. I think the lip has to go into this one. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, there's a little bit of sci-fi to it, but the sci-fi is just to get to the jokes and to get to the romance. And there's not a lot of queer stories like that. So it's nice to have them. And that one is like, there's no subtext. It is just like, oh, this dude likes me. By, being a 30-year-old virgin, I suddenly have magic abilities, which is a idiom, a folklore, I should say, in Japan. And he's like, oh, if I touch people, I can hear their thoughts. Wait, this guy, this very handsome man, is apparently attracted to me. What? And then hijinks ensue. And it's a lovely little series. Again, was not on Crunchyroll's list of stuff that they were licensing, hadn't been part of anything, wasn't part of the announcement, and then suddenly there was an episode out. And it was just like, oh, hell yeah. They did the thing. But it wasn't necessarily clear that they were going to do the thing. So, very happy to see that appear. And now we're going to get the our scythe here, which is unfortunately all one color. I wish there was some color to this. I mean, maybe not a sticker. Like, I'm glad there's not a sticker on this scythe, but I do like it when you can give some color in a high grade with little change in color, a little slight change would have been nice, but I guess that doesn't fit with the build or with the design of it. But yeah, it can't be a lance, then also can be a saber. Or a scythe. And we'll finish that up there, and then be about done with the stream here. There will be some extra parts because this is, you know, an amalgamation of some other kits because there are modifications and modifications. So there'll be a few pieces that were not normally part of this. And then all right. So this becomes kind of the tail of it. Oh, the tail, I guess. I don't know. The weapon on top. Very common with these kits to have the weapon on top. Oops, that fell off. So we got to put the... And then, yeah, all these parts will come off this ship thing, and they will be... they will appear on... Oh, wait. Okay. So where did these parts go? They will then appear, I should say, on as armor. Okay, so these were supposed to go on the... Oh, they go on the back of this. Okay. I did this in the wrong order. So I didn't know where these parts go, and they just go on here. Like that. But yeah, these are all going to be components. They'll all be armor pieces. Everything we built that goes on this just comes off and then gets added to the kit and then becomes cool shit for it. And then we'll figure all that, including like the shielding armor and all that, go on there in a different order. Go on the backpacks. And then eventually it'll just be a cool big Gundam with cool armor for Hirito. And that's going to do it for tonight's stream. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Thank you for everybody that came in on the raid and hung out. It's so kind of you. Appreciate that very much. We are going to end the stream tonight. We got raided, but of course, we also have to go on a raid because we end every stream with a raid. We always want to go and hang out with some other people and to spread the love of what we're doing here. So let's find somebody doing some cool shit that we want to go hang out with. We'll hit there, and then who are we going to go hang out with? Who's doing stuff on stream? Okay. How long have they been streaming? I always try to find out how long the person we're rating has been going. They've been going 4 hours. So we're not going to raid them because that is too long. Wow, weird night. Not a lot of people I know are streaming right now. All right, we're going to go stream Old Timey Computer Show. When I don't know who to raid, we go and hang out with the Old Timey Computer Show because they show cool, weird shit. So we're going to go hang out with them. Cool, weird, old shit. So feel free to come along on this raid. Let's watch some Old Timey Computer Show footage. They apparently have looped all of the stuff they had to show, and so they've started over. I assume you've missed a lot of it. But we'll go hang out there. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me tonight. I hope to see you again. Hope to see you on Saturday. And have a great rest of your evening. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.